I'm afraid that all the pressure will be put on the weaker side, because that is the easier way to stop this war when Ukraine surrenders. But this is not in anybody's interest, not in the interest of Ukraine, not in the interest of European Union, also not in the interest of the global overall security, because it's the United Nations Charter that says that you can't change borders by force. If this pays off, we will see this elsewhere, all around the world. Then we see that whoever has the power gets to take what they want, which is not good for the majority of countries in the world.
European leaders must craft their own roadmap to end the war in Ukraine, EU Defense and Space Commissioner Andrius Kubilius told Politico, urging the bloc to step out of Washington's shadow and take strategic ownership of the crisis. According to Politico, Kubilius argued that the European Union must be independent and prepared to act as a strong geopolitical player, which includes developing an EU-designed peace framework that can be discussed on equal footing with any American proposal.
The European Union needs to be independent, or at least be ready to be strong in geopolitical developments, including to have our plans on how peace in Ukraine can be brought and to discuss them with our transatlantic partners. We should have the possibility to discuss two plans, one that is European and another one maybe prepared by our American friends.
He added that Europe should be capable of weighing two plans, one drafted in Brussels and another shaped in Washington, to determine what best supports European security and Ukrainian interests. As Politico reported earlier, Europe's hesitation to push its own agenda has contributed to a psychology of weakness, particularly visible in recent economic and diplomatic decisions. The outlet noted that despite having the tools to counter U.S. tariffs and coercive measures, Brussels chose restraint, largely because member states feared provoking Washington during a period when U.S. support for European security and for Ukraine could become uncertain. Politico described this reluctance as disguised pragmatism, masking a deeper strategic dependence. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the United States signaled optimism about progress on the diplomatic front. In an interview with NBC News, U.S. Vice President JD Vance said he expects good news in the coming weeks regarding efforts to settle the Ukraine conflict. Vance acknowledged that the issue has been a perennial frustration for the White House and noted that President Biden consistently believed Ukraine would be the easiest war to solve, though that expectation has yet to be fulfilled.
I do think, for what it's worth, that we have made a lot of progress, but we're not yet quite across the finish line there. I think there's hope, should hopefully be some good news the next few weeks on that front. I think that we really thought, and you've heard the president say this a million times, that that would be the easiest war to solve.
Diplomatic activity recently intensified at the Kremlin, where Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted U.S. Presidential Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and American businessman and Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner for nearly 5 hours of talks focused squarely on Ukraine.
Well, they're going along, and they're going along well. We want to stop people from being killed. Doesn't have much to do with us, but I'd like to see if we can save a lot of souls. A lot of people are being killed. Last month, we had 27,000 people killed in that ridiculous war that should have never happened. It would have never happened if I were president. Ukraine's got some difficult little problems. They have some difficult problems, but I think Russia would like to see it end, and I know Ukraine would like to see it end.
You just said that Ukraine has a little bit of problems.
Well, we have a corruption situation going on, which is not helpful.
And is that impeding the peace talks?
Well, I said it was going on for 3 years, right? Didn't I say it? For 3 years I said it, so I was way ahead of schedule. But I think that there's a good chance we can make a deal.
According to Russian presidential aide Yuri Ushakov, the meeting revolved around detailed proposals outlined in 4 documents connected to the American Peace Initiative, signaling a rare direct channel of communication at a high level. On December 4th, Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova clarified that Moscow's meetings with Witkoff and Kushner were aimed at achieving real results, not generating publicity. Her remarks emphasized that the Kremlin views these engagements as substantial discussions rather than symbolic gestures. Together, the comments from Brussels, Washington, and Moscow highlight a rapidly shifting diplomatic landscape, with Europe weighing autonomy, the US signaling cautious optimism, and Russia engaging selectively with American envoys, all while Ukraine remains at the center of an intensifying global negotiation effort.